The story is about a girl named Eva. There are two important things you should know about Eva. One is that she was 11 years old in this story. And the other is that she's absolutely, positively did not want to go and live with her great Aunt Rose. Not at all, no way. But Eva's mother was going to have surgery that required a lengthy recovery. So Eva's parents were sending her to spend the summer with great Aunt Rose. In Eva's mind, there were 1,000 reasons why this was a bad idea. For one thing, it would mean being away from her mother. It would also mean leaving her family and friends. And besides, she didn't even know great Aunt Rose. She was quite comfortable, thank you very much, right where she was. But no amount of arguing or eye-rolling could change the decision. So Eva packed up a suitcase and took a long drive with her father to great Aunt Rose's house. From the moment Eva stepped inside the house, she hated it. Everything was so old. Every inch was packed with old books, strange colored bottles, and plastic bins, spilling over with beads, bows, and buttons. Great Aunt Rose lived there alone. She had never married. The only other inhabitant was a gray cat who liked to find the highest point in every room and perch there and staring like a hungry tiger at everything below. Even the house itself seemed lonely. It was way out in the countryside where the houses are far apart. No one Eva's age lived within half a mile. That made Eva feel lonely too. At first, she didn't pay much attention to great Aunt Rose. She mostly thought about her mother. Sometimes she would stay awake at night, praying with all her soul that her mother would be well. And though it didn't happen right away, Eva began to feel that God was watching over her mother. Word finally came that the operation was a success, and now all that was left for Eva to do was to endure till the end of summer. But oh, how she hated enduring. With her mind now at ease about her mother, Eva began to notice great Aunt Rose a little more. She was a large woman. Everything about her was large. Her voice, her smile, her personality. It wasn't easy for her to get around. But she always sang and laughed while she worked. And the sound of her laughter filled the house. Every night she sat down on her overstuffed sofa, pulled out her scriptures, and read out loud. And as she read, she sometimes made comments like, "Oh, he shouldn't have done that." Or, "What wouldn't I give to have been there?" Or, "Isn't that the most beautiful thing you have ever heard?" And every evening, as the two of them knelt by Eva's bed to pray, great Aunt Rose would say the most beautiful prayers, thanking her Heavenly Father for the blue jays and the spruce trees, the sunsets and the stars, and the wonder of being alive. It sounded to Eva as though Rose knew God as a friend. Over time, Eva made a surprising discovery. Great Aunt Rose was quite possibly the happiest person she had ever known. But how could that be? What did she have to be happy about? She had never married. She had no children. She had no one to keep her company except that creepy cat. And she had a hard time doing simple things like tying her shoes and walking upstairs. When she went to town, she wore embarrassingly big, bright hats. But people didn't laugh at her. Instead, they crowded around her, wanting to talk to her. Rose had been a school teacher, and it wasn't uncommon for former students, now grown up with children of their own, to stop and chat. They thanked her for being a good influence in their lives. They often laughed. Sometimes they even cried. As the summer progressed, Eva spent more and more time with Rose. They went on long walks, and Eva learned the difference between sparrows and finches. She picked wild elderberries and made marmalade from oranges. She learned about her great-great-grandmother, who left her beloved homeland, sailed across an ocean, and walked across the plains to be with the saints. Soon, Eva made another startling discovery. Not only was Great-Aunt Rose one of the happiest persons she knew, but Eva herself was happier whenever she was around her. The days of summer were passing more quickly now. Before she knew it, Great-Aunt Rose said it would soon be time for Eva to return home. Though Eva had been looking forward to that moment since the day she arrived, she wasn't quite sure how to feel about it now. She realized she was actually going to miss this strange old house with a stalker cat and her beloved Great-Aunt Rose. The day before her father arrived to pick her up, Eva asked the question she had been wondering about for weeks. "Aunt Rose, why are you so happy?" Aunt Rose looked at her carefully and then guided her to a painting that hung in the front room. It had been a gift from a talented, dear friend. "What do you see there?" she asked. Eva had noticed the painting before, but she hadn't really looked at it closely. A girl in pioneer dress skipped along a bright blue path. The grass and trees were a vibrant green. Eva said, "It's a painting of a girl. Looks like she is skipping." "Yes, it is a pioneer girl, skipping along happily," Aunt Rose said. "I imagine there were many dark and dreary days for the pioneers. Their life was so hard we can't even imagine. But in this painting, everything is bright and hopeful. This girl has a spring in her step, and she is moving forward and upward." Eva was silent, so Great-Aunt Rose continued. "There's enough that doesn't go right in life, so anyone can work themselves into a puddle of pessimism and a mess of melancholy. But I know people who, even when things don't work out, focus on the wonders and miracles of life. These folks are the happiest people I know."